All right. Hey guys, it's Cedar. I'm waiting on Thor, or he's waiting on me, one of the two. I'm running a couple minutes behind as far as our lunch and learn session. And I'm gonna pop over to the channel. We have a thread set up underneath Market Talk where we would like to have you post tickers. Looks like we've got somebody that's posted 4 already, but what we can't do is have them posted at the end of the session and run it later because we're actually pretty tight on time as far as 30 minutes for this. So do me a favor, if you're listening and you have an interest in something for us to look at as far as the higher time frame perspective, please go post the tickers inside the Lunch and Learn thread under Market Talk. All right, so I'm currently streaming in 2 different places. So my live stream account still has my 30-minute ES execution chart that I stream pretty much the whole day. So that's still running on that end. What I'm recording is actually off of my user, which is Cedar, that you should be able to see both of them in the preview under the streams. So if you're wanting to see the charts that I'm looking at specifically, you'll need to move over to this stream. And then I'll also be recording it. So if you're needing to watch it later and just listening along, that's totally fine too. Okay, just DM'd Thor. Looks like we're holding inside previous value on ES. Just a nice choppy inside day of another inside day, which is kind of to be expected after you've seen the moves that we've seen over the last couple weeks, but especially the last day or two coming into this week. So I'm going to go ahead and open up PayPal and get it on screen. I always start in the monthly. Sometimes immediately go to the weekly, but starting on the monthly. I haven't dropped levels in this for a while. I'm going to say probably 2 or 3 months ago, I reviewed this in one of the videos. And it looks like we're capturing and holding that 6181 level. So I'm going to leave that there with a volume profile because that is how I do all of my support and resistance levels. It's in our New Traders Bootcamp. The very first video that I ever recorded for New Traders Bootcamp is support and resistance based off visible range volume profile, which visible range volume profile is an interesting concept because if I move this around and the candles on the left are no longer visible, they're not going to affect what's going on in the chart. Oh, hey, Thor.
You hear me? Stephen?
Yep.
Sorry, the whole time I could hear the background noise, but I couldn't hear anything on live trading. I don't know.
Oh,
Man, I've had nothing trouble the last day or so with internet
ditto.
connection and other things.
Yep.
What are we looking at?
PayPal is the first one. And I've already charted this actually repeatedly inside these sessions. So maybe I'll let you start with that.
So happens I have weekly open on it. Start off. Give me a second. Still looks like it's in a downtrend on the weekly for sure.
I'm going to copy and post what I already have. This will just be a repeat of what was already posted in one of my early commentaries, but I'm just going to put that out there. I'm on monthly.
Yeah, I don't particularly like it right now. I liked it a couple weeks back. Chart just doesn't. This looks like it's still in a downtrend to me. Well, not looks like it is. Here. Looks like it's trying to break that downtrend from, or the trend line from, the beginning of 2022, so a year back. But I wasn't able to catch anything on that top line. Let me try this one here.
I just posted my weekly. So what I'm seeing is a breakout of the weekly downtrend and consolidation, so acceptance outside of that range. And we had rejection of that back July of 23. And so we've actually now spent what, 6 weeks above it. It's not super convincing.
You know what? I don't really like it yet. I mean, if it is from that low that it made back there in October.
Right.
So it is making higher lows. And it is kind of holding a trend line. I mean, I guess if it's breaking, it's got to break above like 65, 64 somewhere. If I were to try to buy it on a bounce, I'd try to get it at 61. But I don't like it yet. I like the company, but I don't like it.
And difference would be are you talking about for a swing trade or commons or so for me, looking at it, if you're looking for something to add as far as financials, you're not well represented there on long term. I consider this a very great add as far as long-term positions here in this range, because we're building up so much volume right at that 60. Well, really, we could call it 61.81 is what I have marked from the last one of these that we did, that we've been trading there really since July of 23, up and down kind of around it, but we're building a really nice base here.
Yeah, I agree with you as far as long-term. I'm just,
Yeah.
what I.
Oh,
look
short
for
term.
when
Yeah,
I
no,
look
it could
at
be a
the
year
chart-
before this thing does something. We got to be careful with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I look at it, I like PayPal, but I just don't like the chart right now. And I think if you're looking to buy PayPal long-term and, buy it, forget it, probably now it's not a bad idea. But for a trade, not now. I mean, doesn't interest me as much right now as it would if I was looking to trade it, over a week, 2-week period. I wouldn't buy it. Long term, you're looking to buy it, I'd buy it here, sure.
And the reason he's saying that is because we could spend an extended period of time here still, because we've been down in this range for what, 6 months, 7 months? At least 6 months.
Yeah.
So if you're okay with something that's not fast moving and you're just putting together a long-term portfolio and looking for some good representation, that's the difference. So you're not buying a 2-week dated contract hoping we're going to see a pop, because we might, but it seems unlikely from the chart, which is what Thor's saying is don't really love it as far as shorter term. So can you hold it is the real question you have to ask yourself on something like this. And it is helpful if you guys are, I mean, we're looking at them just trying to give the feedback based on long-term versus swings versus if it's something that I, thinking, okay, this might be a good options trade as far as a swing or day trade or that kind of thing. I'll go and pull up the contracts to see what liquidity looks like, what the volume is. Is it something that, doesn't have too big of a spread, that kind of thing. But if you are interested in particular information relating to that, it's helpful if you put that in the post, because then we can actually respond a little bit more directly. So Tesla we did last week. That's the next one. I'm going to skip over that one and go to AI.
Yeah, I've been talking about both of those a lot.
Yep. So Tesla, if you want to see our feedback on Tesla, it was last week. And if we have time to be able to go into it, don't have other tickers that are new for this week, then we can definitely go back to it with the time that we have. But AI, we're really still sitting above the 2268 level on the weekly that I feel like I've been talking about, I don't know, since the beginning of 23, give or take. And so above here, 3265 to 3355 kind of range. If we lose on the weekly, the 2240, 2268. If we lose that on the weekly, then I would consider it short, but we've spent so much time building up base again here back at this level holding the 24.94 level where we're actually trading right now, that it definitely is not a short for me. And I suggest this when somebody asks me, hey, is there something, as far as new technology that you think I should be looking at as far as long term? And I'm talking 10 plus years. I'm talking a long time. So you've got a 2-year-old and you're putting together a portfolio for them. AI representation is not a bad thing. And AI, the ticker itself, is probably one of my favorites as far as what the company does. But you want to make sure that you're not oversizing on anything, including long-term investments. And we've talked about this recently multiple times. But if you're adding something that is speculative, you want to make sure that you have a diversification of names. So you might take 10 different names that are 0.5% size for your portfolio as far as long-term portfolio goes, and expect that 8 of them are probably going to be penny stocks and delisted out either to the OTC, like pink sheet, or even gray sheet where nobody even trades them. And one will do really well and one will do moderately well. If you expect that, and a couple more do moderately well, you're in a good place if you didn't oversize. You just don't want to take 10 of them and put 5% each, because that could be a rough couple of years. So levels haven't really changed for me, other than we've got some volume put in at the 40, we'll say 40.31 is kind of where is drawing my eye. 40.31, a whole lot of candle bodies directly underneath that on the weekly time frame. And changing my color. So I do all of this off of visible range volume profile, which is how I draw support and resistance. So yes, I use volume on the bottom. So these volume candles based on the weekly, but also where we're actually putting in volume in more recent times for me is really, really important. And then candle structure comes as secondary support based on the volume that we've traded in. So I'll post that and let you have at it.
Yeah, AI, actually, I called this the other day. I saw it as a bottom play. I think I called it, I don't remember which day I called it,
I think it was
might have been
yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Or it was Friday. Well, okay, I can't remember now, but I'll just go by memory on what I think about it, what I did, because I actually sold it today and moved into an older expiration and a higher strike. I saw this as a bottom play, and the reason why I think I did it before yesterday is because it kind of started to fail. It made it a lower, it made a lower low off of what I was watching. Then it recovered. So I said, you know what, I'm going to hold on to it a little bit longer. And then what I got was the play on PLTR, which gave this one some legs as well. And I sold those today. I think I sold 2/3 of them at 80%, and I sold the last third at 90%. And then I moved into some longer dated, I think I went to 30, end of February, 30 calls. The reason why is because I was just trying to catch this on the bottom. I think I got lucky, to be honest with you. I don't think I would have got lucky had PLTR not had such great earnings. So for me, the only reason why I didn't just take the money and run and moved into a longer date and a higher strike, because I still have a possibility to make money on it. I bought the 2550s. It was close. It's not really a play for me now looking at it. So I'm not really giving a analysis on it other than I was playing a bottom play. And it kind of got up there pretty high. It's looking like it's failing candle reject. So I just put those longer dateds with 1/3 of my profit. So I'm not going to get hurt on it. But I think I got lucky on it. I wouldn't play it now. Long term, yes. For a quick play, no.
For short-term trades, agreed. Same basically as PayPal. All right, next up is Roblox, RBLX.
Yeah, this one looks, I like this one. You want to start, Cedar, or you want me to do it?
You can go on this one. I started last one.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I need to pay better attention.
It's okay. No.
This one looked like it had a run up and now it's consolidating. I mean, it really had a really nice run up from September, October. It nearly doubled in price. It's falling back now and kind of consolidating, I think. I think that if this holds above 41, it can start moving up again. Even, yeah, I think 41. If 41 holds, it can start moving up again. Let's see, it's consolidating for really just for this month. Maybe it's going to consolidate longer.
So for me, this chart looks very similar to PayPal. And I posted the weekly chart as far as a breakout over on the weekly that's been rejected one time. Now we're back testing and holding. I'm personally not a fan of Roblox. And maybe that's because of discussions with my kids as far as technology goes and, things like that, where I like PayPal for long term. If you wanted to buy it as something long term and just monitor a little more closely, where we have a huge volume shelf created here in that $40 range that should hold. I just personally don't believe in the company at all as far as longevity goes. And I could be completely off as far as that goes, but to some degree, when it's something that I've never used personally or don't really have an understanding, I mean, I know what it is, but when my family, my kids are telling me, there's newer technology, there's better things out there, then I just go, all right, this is a mediocre chart. I'm looking for more financial representation. So if I had to choose between the two of them, I'm PayPal, hands down between the two.
Yeah, I'm talking about this strictly on what I'm kind of looking at the chart. I have heard sort of the same thing you're saying.
Yeah.
But I didn't even bother talking about that, but I'm just strictly looking at the chart. I actually like it better than PayPal. I'll post my, kind of some trend lines I drew on there and support lines. Did I catch all of that? All right, hold on a second. I thought I caught it all and I didn't. Usually when Cedar's talking about, as far as, whether it's a good company or not, it might get a bump, but being a bad company, it may not go far. Or if its technology is old.
And there's the difference in fundamentals, like the actual underlying business itself versus the chart, right? So if we're trading the chart, we're trading the chart. If we're buying something to put in a long term, fundamentals are to some degree important, but more importantly, do you believe in the business? Okay. Which should go back to fundamentals also, but just, yeah, they do have different lenses that should be paid attention to. I'm marking up the cat chart while you're getting that set up. That's the next one from VCF. This thing's been on a tear and is getting some profit taking.
Which one is this we're talking about now? I got to go back and find it.
Caterpillar, CAT.
Cat. Okay.
So this is a breakout that really can't be bought. We've got 2 weeks of massive breakout. I would be interested in, how much of this is infrastructure related, putting more money into things and war related items, because to some degree, when you've got war, you've got rebuilding. But this, I can't even touch until it's somewhere back and we see what the interaction is around the 302.77 level. Below that, I would not be interested at all, because we could, well, if you look at how it rolls, we could have some pretty decent drawbacks, even if we just go trend line. Well, I'll actually back it up a little. Back from September 2022. And then next one is at the base of the wick on the weekly, May 30th, 2023. From a mean reversion perspective, that's down to like the 278-ish range. Can't short it when you've got this much upward momentum, because if you look at previous weeks, it's had times when it's like 7, 8, 9 weeks of upside, or 15 weeks of upside, all kinds of fun stuff. Of course, that's 2020, so I don't take as much stock as far as that goes, but there's no trade here. If you are long, you're looking for a weekly close. So this week to be above the 317.19, that would be my main concern. If it closed below that, then more profit taking is probably coming into play.
Yeah, I feel the same way you do, Cedar. I'm looking at it going, my numbers are just a little bit different, but not by much. It looks like you're chasing right now if you did try to buy it. Now, if for some reason you're a big believer in CAT, you think it's going to go further, I'd look at it right at 300, and I'd set stops. I'd buy and set stops there if it's a stock that you really like. But other than that, everything Cedar said, I agree with 100%.
It's just chasing here. So it's helpful if you give us an idea of, I'm already long in this position, or I've been long in this for a while, or I'm looking for a pullback entry. That definitely, because we're just trying to give as much context as we can around that. Yeah. Okay, next one is mRNA, also from BCF. And BCF is our newest trusted trader, so congratulations on that promotion. Very well deserved.
Yeah, by the way, he's been doing really well.
He has been. Well, it's not my turn, but it's also, I don't trade bios, so also your turn.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like, looking at it really quick, like, what the hell's this doing here? Sorry, I use Yahoo charts a lot, and sometimes they leave residual trend lines from the previous chart on the next chart I'm looking at. I don't know why they do it.
Oh.
I have to go to the draw and clear drawings to look at them. It actually looks like it's trying to bounce here at, or tried to bounce here at like 95. Let me move out farther. It's kind of interesting. I actually kind of like it. But no, I wouldn't want to buy it $3 away from where I really want to buy it. I mean, I think the bounce on 95 is the spot to buy. If it goes back down and bounces again on 95, I'd grab some and set your stops. I actually like it. Even though you don't like them, you could chart them.
No, you can still chart them, but that's my general, so the charting, I've dropped some lines in, and I'll just run through those numbers. So we do have a pretty decent amount of volume we've put in here in the 98.75 level, which it's not a high volume area. If we're looking at volume perspective, the high volume above us is 140-ish. We'll just put that as a range. And below us is 79.80. So if we pull back, the back test is continuation back down into that $80 range. But I can't make myself trade it here. I mean, I guess if we had a weekly close that held the 98.50 and put some more volume in here, and really saw some increasing volume. So when we're looking at the weekly volume right here, we've got decreasing volume. I don't see anything that's exciting as far as volume goes on weekly. I will flip over to the daily. Haven't done that on any of these charts yet, but why not? Oh, and earnings is Thursday, February 22nd. So coming into earnings, if you're
Wow.
looking at this as an earnings trade, trade it up to earnings, don't hold into it. And it looks like,
Yeah, earnings, I have no interest.
yeah, well, 22nd, I mean, that's a little while off. So if you're looking at something as far as nearer term, something that's a month out kind of option or something along those lines as a trade up into earnings potentially. If we hold this level, it would be pretty easy to see 113. So that's a $15 move. I just can't convince myself that it's a good idea. Like, won't even open the options chain, can't convince myself. I guess that says something.
Yeah, I wouldn't, with the R coming, I don't know that I'd trade it, now. But if I was going to trade it and ER wasn't close, I'd try and buy it at 95. I just posted, my basic chart on there, Lunch and Learn.
All right, let's see.
Here,
Next.
I have time for one more.
Next one. Looks like CW Brown wants Carvana. I think that's, oh no, we've got CVS. So player of the game requested CVS.
CBS.
I actually haven't looked at this chart in a while. I'm going to go out to monthly because daily makes me say absolutely not. That's why I haven't looked at it. But I'm going to go to monthly and
Exactly what
try
I
to
was
build
thinking,
myself a
actually.
case.
I'm going out to the weekly too. Getting delay here.
I hope,
Do you have it at 7405?
yeah, 7405 is what I have. I hope TradingView gets their stuff together and actually makes it where when I anchor things based on the magnet, it still carries forward into the other time frames. Just put it on monthly, had to readjust it on weekly. I would have to do it on daily and also 4 hour and then 30 minutes if I were interested. There is a pretty decent amount of volume below us at 73.16. That would be interesting. One of the issues I have with something like CVS is there's so much theft. The product loss is massive. And just thinking about what I personally do, I order things online and I just get them delivered to my doorstep. And I'm really not inside stores like this. And of course, I'm not a representation or good cross section of everyone, but thinking about how I utilize things, I'm not real excited and wouldn't be surprised to see this pull back a little bit and then just kind of consolidate sideways. So that was why I went off of the daily, because we're trading in a range right now that's been, well, we started this 10 years ago, traded below it, traded above it. I got nothing, no feels at all on this. It's a no touch for me.
Yeah, for me, I actually like it better than Cedar. Would I buy it? Probably not. If I was to buy it, I'd want it above 75 and hold. For me, it's a real simple look on a weekly. You can see it. It just crosses straight through numerous times right on 75. And I'd give it a try there. But the problem is it doesn't look like it'll go very far. So that kind of is an issue, probably the reason why I wouldn't trade it. I mean, you might get 75, you might get $10 on it, but how long is that going to take?
Right.
I don't know.
And it looks like a player of the game said he's looking for an entry point for a long. So I just replied back in the thread, that volume point of control that's down there, the 66.99 would be an entry. It's that, if you were looking to short it, it would be down to there. That's not a very big move, but an entry on a long would be volume point of control that has been being held for a very long time as far as building a position. However, we are below that uptrend right now. So I don't know. I actually wouldn't be comfortable with it if it pulled back there at this point, looking at the weekly. I think there's other tickers that would be a better use of your time and capital.
You know, I was thinking about something else too. I played that Rite Aid play a while back, and
Hmm.
I did really well with it,
Yep.
and I sold most of it and stayed in some of it, and then I'm sitting on what I have because I'm in it for nothing, and at some point maybe it gets a short cover on it. I don't know. I'm just looking at it day to day, and who knows what's going to happen. But what happened to Rite Aid, a lot of it had to do with that opiate issue.
Right.
I don't know how much CVS Health is exposed to that.
There's a
It
decent
may
exposure
have
there.
been
Yeah.
a little because they were up around 110, and now they're down to 70. Well, they were under $70 for a while. But I don't know how much exposure they have with that or not. I don't know if they're gonna somehow get hammered on it at some point. I don't even know if that's over yet, or you know anything about that? See
It's actually less
Or
of a it's
if
less of an
because,
issue
people
now.
like Rite Aid got sued over it.
It's definitely less of an issue now, just as far as the epidemic, but it's still a concern. We'll just put it that way.
I'm just wondering if the damage is already done and it's passed, or it's going to come up again and there's going to be more lawsuits.
Do you remember the date of when that stuff happened with Rite Aid? Because this stuff where we were up high in that close to $100 range for CVS is back in the end of 2022. And the sell off began for them in the beginning of 23. And I feel like it was maybe Q2 last year that you were talking about it. I can't remember. I have it, it's called CRS. I can't remember stuff dates wise.
Well, I'm looking at. I just went back to where it really started. It started tanking really bad back in 2017, but they did some splits or stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I'm looking where it was up around 23, and now it's at $23, and now it's at actually $26. Now it's at 22 cents, and that was in January
And that's
of
Rite Aid,
2021.
right?
Yeah, that's Rite
Okay.
Aid. So where does that look like as far as where was CVS right around January of 2021? I'm not on that chart right now.
Okay. January of 2021, right where we are right now. So right in this range. This is our volume point of control, 66-ish kind of range.
I guess they didn't get hit as hard,
Yeah.
or maybe something else happened. I'm not crossing charts, at the right time. It could be a different time frame.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot better tickers to be looking at. I mean, if you're underrepresented as far as retail, it might be worth digging into retail charts a little bit more. But if you're just looking for a chart, because you like the idea of they're going to have prescriptions and, things like that available that maybe people aren't going to Costco for, which for me, I'm definitely a Costco, but you have to think about all of that context. I can't trade CVS. In fact,
Yeah,
I probably won't look at it again until somebody requests it again because I don't love it.
Okay, I think that's it for today.
All right, sounds good. And we will catch you next week, Thor. Good talking with you.
Yep. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and if you can, please fill out the monthly. It's almost up as far as when we close it. We really appreciate it. It really matters. This month we removed the core staff so that we can get a better reading on the people that are working their butts off every day for you. So it really helps them. It helps us, and the other comments that you have that you can make, good or bad, that helps the direction of the site as well. So please, please, please fill that out. It only takes maybe, in detail, 5 minutes. Quickly, you can do it in a minute or less.
Yep.
And that said, thank you so much.
All right. We'll see you soon.